Encouragement. We all love to be encouraged, but why should you be the one doing the encouragement? In this video, I'm going to show you 3 reasons why you should probably start encouraging your friends today. And the secret is scientific. So let's find out what the fuss is all about. Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. My name is Spencer. My friends call me The Fuss. And if you're new to this channel and we've just met, this is my way of sharing my personal journey of faith with you and the world. So if you want YouTube to spread the gospel to more people, hit the like button, subscribe, and share today's journey of faith with somebody you know. Also, stay tuned to the end to join me on a challenge that will have a long-lasting effect on your life. Last week we talked about the difference between a real friend and a fake friend, and the biggest difference is that a real friend is going to encourage you to stay on the right path even when it's hard, while a fake friend may only encourage you to be happy even if it means making a wrong choice. So one of the best things you can do as a real friend is to encourage somebody in the faith, and you might just be surprised how much you actually needed that encouragement for yourself, which leads me to number 1. We all need encouragement. Just like we all need friends, we all need encouragement. I think back to the story of Joshua. In Joshua chapter 1, God reminds Joshua 3 times in the very first chapter, be strong and courageous. Why? What was he afraid of? The guy was a master scout, a cunning warrior, and a proven leader. So why did he need so much encouragement? He had it all. Simply put, he was human. He probably wasn't worried about the fight coming. He probably wasn't worried about crossing the Jordan River. He had already crossed the Red Sea. He was afraid because he had huge shoes to fill. He was replacing a legend. And that gives us some insight to the human disposition. We all need encouragement, specifically spiritual encouragement. Joshua 1:9 says, "This is my command, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." The encouragement we see modeled for us here is be strong and courageous, not because you've got this or not because you're so tough or talented. Encouragement is more than complimenting a haircut or an outfit or a skill. It's something deeper. It's something spiritual. And it's something that allows us to see what God is doing in our lives and through us in the lives of the people around us. Which leads me to point 2. We're spiritually blind. Spiritual blindness is not always just being blind to the sin in your life. Sometimes we're blind to even what God is doing in our lives. And in both situations, we rely on the real friends that God has put in our lives to correct us and encourage us to stay on the right path and help us grow in our faith. Psalm 119:105 says, "Your word is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path." And in many times, especially when we're not actively spending time in the word, we find ourselves walking in a spiritual darkness. And at any moment, we can trip and fall, and we really have no idea what's lurking in the shadows. And honestly, guys, sometimes that feels just fine. Everything's okay. But 1 John 1:5-6 says, "This is the message that we heard from Jesus and now declare to you. God is light. There is no darkness in him at all. So we are lying if we say we have fellowship with God, but go on living in spiritual darkness. We are not practicing the truth." Sometimes we need to stop lying to ourselves about our spiritual condition and listen to our friends that are walking in the light. We need them to point out the spiritual darkness in our lives and encourage us to stay on the path just as much as we need them to show us what God is doing in us and through us. There have been many times in my life when I felt like I didn't have a purpose, when I felt like I was ineffective. My efforts in ministry and even life were useless. And even though I was in the Word, I felt abandoned. I couldn't get connected to the Word. I couldn't see what God was doing in my life until I had a friend stop and encourage me. It took this friend telling me what God was doing through my life, in his life, to encourage me to stay the course. And I promise you, he felt pure joy in doing this, which leads me to number 3. Encouraging your friends brings you joy. Fact, it's better to give than to receive. When we actually stop and take a moment to see what God is doing in the lives of the people around us and then actually tell them about it and encourage them to stay the course, we actually feel better about ourselves. It's the best thing you can do for your friends, and it's the best thing you can do for yourself. But don't just take it from me. In a 2006 study, the National Institute of Health found that when people give to charities, it activates a region in the brain associated with pleasure, social connection, and trust, creating a warm glow effect. Well, that's funny. It almost sounds like science is backing what Jesus said about 2,000 years ago. Acts 20:35 tells us you should remember the words of the Lord Jesus. It's more blessed to give than to receive. So the bottom line is this, guys. When you feel like you're in a rut, one of the best ways that I've experienced to get out of that rut and instantly start feeling better about life and about yourself and find some real motivation and traction is to take a moment to encourage a friend. So are you ready for the challenge? This week I want you to join me in encouraging 3 of your friends and let me know how that experience goes for me. Tell me in the comments below, how does it make you feel when you encourage somebody else? And as always, thank you for spending some of your time with me on my personal journey of faith. And if you've got a faith question, life question, Bible question that you'd like an answer to, drop it in the comments below and I'm going to do my best to answer that in upcoming videos. And remember, one more like on this video is another person that may be reached with the gospel. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so we can take this journey of faith together. And I'll catch you right here next week. Fuss out. Check focus. Check focus, right about here, yeah. In a 2006 study, the National Institute, but don't just take it from me. In a 2000,